now. Yeah, wow. Giddy, very good. Mm. Mm. So tell us what changes you've noticed, Don, in the last couple of weeks. It feels like it's been
Yeah,
a couple of weeks since I saw you.
it has been. Yeah. I missed last weekend. Yeah. I was away. I was away for the weekend. There was no internet. And it was supposed to be a detox. Gosh, I find I need this to detox. I don't need to detox away from this. It's just, I'm like, what? I'm going to have to think and read books and stuff. Um, so yeah. Um, I don't know. I suppose hopefully a very small changes. I was thinking yesterday, like I'm kind of getting, it seems ridiculous. I'm getting through the days, don't feel as overwhelmed by anxiety and whatever as I did, a couple of months ago, I suppose, like during January. I was noticing myself yesterday. I haven't been that anxious about my job and I'm just getting through the days and I'm get to sitting here in the sitting room like late afternoon and doing a bit of practice or watching Angela or something for a while, going, that's okay, at least I'm not overwhelmed. I should feel grateful that I'm not overwhelmed as I was only a shortish time ago. The other side of that coin is, for now anyway, I'm just still like, quite, be polite and say quite depressed. I would say utterly hopeless, utterly hopeless. There's no meaning to life whatsoever. And when I think about meaning, like, I don't think there even has to be a meaning. I just don't enjoy myself. I just don't feel happy. I feel much better as far as not feeling overwhelmed with anxiety, but I'm still like, I'm just going, yeah. I mean, it seems ridiculous. I want to get something out of non-duality. I want to get, I don't know, I want to get away from this feeling of sadness and depression and hopelessness sort of thing. So I'm just trying to just use the usual discipline thing of just sitting as much as I can. And Alan's been encouraging me a lot to just notice that I'm not unsafe, and that keep reminding me to sit and notice that I'm not unsafe, sort of thing. I guess safety is an important foundation that I'm trying to find. So I kind of find that. But sometimes even when I notice I'm not unsafe, like I'm safe and not unsafe, whatever, I'm going, okay, not unsafe, but still a bit miserable though. So I'm not sure what. Anyway, I just being patient, I guess, like usual, and just go, right. That's, yeah. When I say patient, I'm not patient at all. I don't feel one bit patient.
John, how do
Yeah.
you know how do you know you're miserable?
Yeah. I guess I'm looking at thoughts and emotions to find out.
Well, if you're looking at emotions, an emotion is a thought plus a sensation, or an emotion is actually a sensation plus a thought label. Can you go into the sensation, what sensation that you like to label yourself as being miserable? Can you find that in the body?
Yeah, I kind of can. Yeah, I do that. I can do it now.
Down.
Yeah.
It's really, really a helpful thing. When the mind's saying, oh, I'm depressed or I'm unhappy, or why is this is like, is it true? How do I know that I'm that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So when the mind tells you that you are, when thoughts come along that says you're miserable, do you check in your body to confirm that, or do you just stop at the thoughts?
Maybe no, I do check my body, but maybe not as much as I need to, should, whatever. I do go and sit with sensations for as long as I can, but Yeah, okay, so maybe I'm just feeling sadness, say, and that's going to be a thought and a sensation that was just described. Maybe I need to sit
But when
for
you
long.
but when you ask yourself, like double check your mind,
Yeah.
tick off, how do I know what the mind is telling me is true? It's not just I'm going to check the body, I'm checking what the mind is telling me is the state. And so you're actually digging deeper.
Okay.
It's not just it's just like, because you're looking for something. The mind is giving you something to look for in the body, which will be a sensation. And within itself, you know, sensations can be recognized as having a label, such as an emotion or a feeling. But then you can go a step further and take that label off and just be with a pure sensation. So asking that question of yourself is really good.
Okay.
To be a good
Sounds,
archaeologist.
yeah, okay, that sounds like a good one. I might even write it down. Yeah, because I do feel like I'm persuaded by, well, both thoughts and emotions, I guess, or feelings, whatever. So yeah, I don't have to believe them necessarily. So I can ask that, and I'm doing it now. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'll give that a go. Thanks. I guess I'm waiting for evidence of like spontaneous delight and jumping around doing stuff spontaneously in my life, which I haven't found recently. But anyway, but I can do the question is a good one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect that there's a tendency to believe your thoughts and not go and check that you really are feeling down or depressed, that you just stop when your thoughts say, yeah, I'm depressed. But that's just my story, but
Yeah.
I wonder.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm still a bit,
if every
I'm still a
time
bit,
you get that message from your mind that you're depressed or that you're not feeling good or whatever it is, if you were to go and check the state of your body, guess what happens? You jump out of the feeling in order to look at it. You can't feel it and look at it at the same time.
okay.
Because to look at it, you kind of got to be outside it to look at it. Whereas to feel it, you're feeling it from inside it.
I'm not sure if I get the difference between feeling it and looking at it.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Well, it's got to be experiential rather than don't think about it. But next time you get a message that you're feeling a bit shitty, just do that exercise. Yeah, look for confirmation in your physical body that is the case, and then watch what happens as you look at it and see if it doesn't change.
Okay. Yeah. See what I can do with that. Yeah, I do see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit disgusted by how much I believe my thoughts still, even after all this time of looking at them. But the sensations I sit with sometimes, and they do change and ease out after a while when I sit
Yeah.
for a while.
And of course, the other thing that happens is that there's a kind of a secondary stories that hang off those things, and that is that I've got to change them. It's not okay the way it is, and I've got to change them. I've got to fix this. I've got to end it. I've got to be different. That's a secondary thing that comes along that kind of makes the whole thing worse, doesn't it? Can you see that?
Yeah, I have to check. Yeah, I do kind of want to. And additionally, I always, as you may have guessed, it's always my fault as well. So I have to, whatever I'm doing, whenever I'm feeling is my fault, I'm making it happen here, and I have to figure out how I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
What do you mean you're making it happen? Can you control your thoughts? You're one of the few of us.
But I know people keep telling me that, but I keep thinking, oh, maybe I have a choice whether to believe them or not, or see them more clearly or something.
Can you control which ones come up?
I don't think so. No.
No.
I guess I feel I can control, maybe can I control which ones I believe or whether I go with them or
Okay, that's a
I'm
bit of a twist,
disciplined and
isn't it?
stuff.
Yeah,
Hmm?
that's a bit of a twist there, a tricky one there. I can't control what thoughts come up, but I can control which ones I believe. You can't. Unless you're superhuman.
I
Belief,
don't know.
beliefs are there. Beliefs are there. You can't say, oh, I'm going to not believe that anymore. That's that doesn't work.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're a bit helpless, really, aren't you? You can't control which thoughts come up. You can't control which ones you believe. But having this conversation can possibly stimulate other thoughts to turn up,
Okay.
like the thoughts that I'll go and check my body just to see what's
Yeah.
really going on there. Am I really actually feeling as bad as what my thoughts tell me I'm feeling?
Mm.
Right? Are there thoughts that say I've got to change this? That's another good one. Maybe that thought will turn up now. Not that you can make it turn up, but because of this conversation, it's possible that will stimulate a thought like that to turn up at the time.
Mm.
And maybe if because of the assumption that secondary story that says, I've got to change this, I've got to stop this, I've got to get to feeling good no matter what, I've got to get to feeling good. That's a pretty hopeless kind of road to go down as well. So maybe a story that can be attached to that one is, well, it'll change when it changes. I can't do anything about it. That's not to say you're helpless, but it is to say, let's accept what actually is here. Can you see we get story after story after story here? They all have possible invitations to turn up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I mean, I feel I'm in some kind of a conclusion from a thought.
Yeah.
So
Do
I've
you
believed
get-
it before I even noticed. It's funny. Yeah.
Do you get the
Sometimes.
message that trying to change it only strengthens it? It doesn't actually help?
Maybe no.
You don't believe that one, do you?
Not really. I don't know. No, I don't. I suppose I'd say no, I don't get that because I would say that a belief I have I would say based on experience, maybe it's just a belief out of nowhere, is that the habits and patterns here are very strong. And unless I go really hard against them or try and find my way through them or understand them or see through, they're just going to keep running my life forever. There's no
Right.
the
Yeah, but
universe will
what about
help
this
me in a
story?
positive way.
What
Mm.
about this story? How's that been working out for you? You've been trying that for so many years, haven't you?
Very badly.
How's that
Very
been
badly.
working out, eh?
Yeah.
Not real good, eh?
No.
Yeah. So what is there to lose in trying something else? And that is stop fighting it. Just allow it to be whatever it is. We're not inviting it to be worse. We just want to look at what it actually is.
Mm.
And then as you're looking at it, you look at, my thoughts say, oh, I'm feeling pretty miserable today. I wish it would go away. I wish I could change it. And then you look at your body and you go, oh, well, it's not great, but I'm not going to die. It's not the end of the world. It's just shitty, Okay, so I can live with it if I have to live with it. So we got a whole different scenario, a whole different lot of stories going on. So if in amongst all of that stuff, we just for a moment don't fight it and we see something changes, we can be encouraged about something, eh?
I have this. I said this before. It's weird. It's this. The word surrender comes up for me when we talk about this kind of stuff, and I feel I have this misunderstanding that just keeps arising, which is that, like, not fighting it, as you say, would be fine. Except it sounds well. It always sounds to me just the way it feels like it works is that not fighting it or surrendering means believing all of my thoughts and going off on it. That feels like what would happen in practice. I would just be off on a daydream, making myself miserable like I always have. I need to stop that pattern.
So
maybe it doesn't mean that. It's just how it feels to me sometimes.
oh yeah. What if we change the meaning of the word surrender just slightly? And so instead of saying surrender equals resignation, if say surrender equals an interesting exploration, surrender, an inviting surrender, a welcoming surrender, an acceptance rather than a resignation, as it has a different tone to it, right? And it's not the end. What it is an invitation for discovery, an invitation for curiosity to see what happens if that can happen, if that occurs. That's surrender, different kind, not just resignation, not saying I'm a victim and I'll be a victim to my thoughts, because that's letting go, that's resigning yourself. What we're doing is that we're saying, come on in, baby, let's see what you got. Slightly different kind of attitude.
I've got a little analogy for you, Don.
Yeah. Okay.
So so you've got a very playful dog that loves playing tug of war. Do you know dogs love doing tug of war? You can have a piece of rope and you play.
Yeah.
And you're tugging and they're tugging, making all their noises. And then after a little while, it's like, God, I've had enough of this. So the dog brings something up and you say, sorry, mate, I'm just not going to engage right now. And you go off and do your thing. It's a little bit like that with the thoughts and trying to control them and see how you can make them go away. It's like you're playing in that tug of war. And so you're reinforcing the dog with its rope, and you're engaging in that sort of way. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing up, but I've had enough of that. Just drop. And I don't know, that just sort of came to mind.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I think it's very confusing, the message of surrendering and dropping and accepting, because it implies that you are the one which is resisting. It implies that the resistance, it's an effect from a cause. And the message of surrendering, don't do this, don't resist, don't do that, to me it sounds like confusing, because it implies that like there is choice in resisting, that there is something resisting, either a person or a mechanism behind the resistance. But surrendering is just it's a consequences of a clear seeing that behind the resistance there is no one and there is no mechanism, there is no activity behind resistance. There is just resistance, whatever it is means to you in the moment. There is only exactly what is appearing to you at this moment. Behind resistance, there is nothing, and there is no after it is resistant. There is just now, just this experience.
Okay. I really have to listen to that. I was going to take notes, but I can listen afterwards, I guess, as well. There isn't much just right now. Doesn't feel like there's much of a sense of a person. There isn't much of a sense of resistance, but there's just a sense of sadness. But then I have to go and ask about that, don't I? And go, how do I know? And I can start doing that.
No, you don't have to do anything. Just if you feel sadness now, feel the sadness. I think it's I'm I am under the belief that you approach your experience with an agenda. You see, just now you say, I feel sadness. Also, I have to do something with this sadness, do something, and you go straight into time, into cause and effect, into space, into tomorrow, into have to take notes for learning. I have to. But what I'm pointing to, there is only this moment. There is sadness now. After, when you feel sadness is gone, the word sadness is gone. It's a memory already. You know that there was sadness, and there's no sadness now. This is just what is appearing at this moment. There's no I had a bad week. There's no bad week. There's just what you feel in this moment.
Okay. I'm just chilling. I have nothing to say now. Thank you, but thank you for that. Thank you.
Have you been remiss?
I feel like my mind is blank.
How are those body sensations been?
It's kind of the same, but different. It's there's maybe less resistance.
Do you attribute that to anything?
I don't understand.
Do you imagine that there's a reason why it's a little less than what it was?
No, I don't know.
At the moment, your body feels fairly relaxed.
It's I don't know. I don't know how to. There's this. My body feels heavy and dense, but it's not painful.
So that heaviness and denseness, is that there all the time?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So if you had to put a figure on it, say just a rough estimate, would you say that it's unpleasant more than it's pleasant, or less than it's pleasant, or less than it's no, let's not say pleasant, let's say what percentage of the time is it painful, and what percentage of the time is it not painful if it's there all the time?
Maybe 50-50.
Okay. And you don't see any pattern to the coming and going of the other 50%?
Sometimes I feel like the sensations respond to certain subjects, thoughts. Sometimes it doesn't.
So would you say it's unpredictable?
Yeah. I haven't been excited to do anything the past few months. And the last couple of days, I began to feel this excitement about learning programming.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's like two forces against each other. Like something is holding me, but something is wants me to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a sense of sadness that comes very randomly.
Is that associated with the part that's holding you back?
It's very confusing to try to understand. It's just things are random, thoughts, pictures, feelings. I feel like I'm tired of thinking. Of trying to figure out.
So that blank mind that you mentioned earlier, is that a relief?
I don't know. I have in my mind imagination about relief that it won't include this density of sensations. Like there's an expectation, like if this sensation isn't here, I will be free somehow.
Have you ever experienced being free, not having these sensations?
I think I did, but
Doesn't sound very sure. What, a long time ago?
like a year ago. I felt a sense of confidence I never felt in my life. I felt um, I can meet anything, any feelings. Um, but I don't know what changed.
So there was no event that brought about a change. It just morphed from feeling confident to this with no obvious trigger.
There, I don't know. Maybe there was multiple triggers, and I'm not sure of what causes what.
Hmm.
What's beautiful, Ram, is that you are tired of thinking. Feel the impulse to share that if you are exploring sensation more deeply, there is maybe two ways of exploring that can be interesting that you can do by yourself. The first one would be to find the borders between two opposite emotions, like you told about the density and kind of expansion. Try to feel where they touch inside your experiential field, into your sensing. Feel where they touch, where is the limit, and this is kind of one of very good exploration. And the other one that is very interesting, it's to search if you're sensing, if every sensation is contained within something. Is there a container of sensation? Anything can be your whole sensing field or just the sensation of density. This sensation is contained within something, and with these two, you can have a great ride. That's my belief, and that's what I experiment when I explore sensation that way.
Did that make sense for you, Ramiz, what David was saying?
Mm. Um, I can't explore this question experientially. Like, I don't know where to look for a boundary.
I don't understand really, like you looked and you don't find boundaries, or you don't know really how to look to search for boundaries.
It's like I'm trying to look with like a visual concept about boundary. It's like I
So you
I,
so
I
you're
think you
going
are
into
pointing.
thoughts.
I think, yeah.
Ah. You want to explore now a little bit?
Okay.
Do you feel your right feet?
Yes.
Right foot, the right. Okay. But this is a sensation. Okay. And the mind can build up an image of it, with toes and everything. But now we are not interested in the image. So the image, the mental image is a thought. So just go use the word, the concept right foot, and then when this concept arises in your experience, naturally the focus goes into sensation somewhere, right? It just goes there. So feel this a little bit.
The
Try to
image
let
feel
go.
like it's like it's one with the sensation.
Okay.
I can't just throw the image.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's not throw out the image, but try to focus just more on the sensation at the moment. Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
To feel that there are kind of two dimensions overlapping. Yeah, but they're a little bit different. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now feel your left foot with the same with the sensation of your left foot. You can feel your left foot. Tell me.
Yes, I'm feeling both.
So there is two sensations: the sensation of your your right foot, and the sensation of your left foot. And there is this overlapping, this image overlapping both of them. Yes.
Yes.
So now if we try to focus only on sensation, try to put the image of the foot on the background, and let the sensation of the foot on the foreground more. When you feel that those sensations are on the foreground, let me know.
Yeah, I can feel the sensations.
Now it's an experiential exploration that you feel two sensations. What is between them? Is there a space between them? Is there a border? Is there a separation between those two sensations? And maybe the images will kind of rush, you know, like with an image or with thoughts. Okay, just let them drop a little bit on the back and let sensation arise again, and try to explore within sensations what is between those two sensations. Is there something between those two sensations?
It's like it's flickering.
Flickering?
Sometimes there is sometimes there is a boundary, sometimes there isn't.
Interesting. So when there is a boundary, what is this boundary made of? What sensation it is made of, this boundary between those two?
This is really hard. Mm.
Why is hard? I don't understand.
I can't focus.
Because there is the image that is overlapping too much? Or what do you mean by you can focus?
There's a lot of sensations. My body is shaking.
So something is happening now in your sensations. It is shaking. You feel it is shaking positive or negative? I mean, in the sense it's comfortable or uncomfortable?
Like nervousness, maybe.
Nervousness.
It's like my whole body is just vibrating.
This vibration have a direction? It goes up, it goes down, it goes everywhere, it goes in the back and the forth.
No, it's just static.
Static. Okay, so something happened. I don't know really where to go now, because I mean there is many directions we can go, but I don't feel that it's the moment. But I just wanted, could you feel this kind of exploration of boundaries a little bit more clearly?
I will try, yes.
Yeah, try, because it's very interesting. And if your body gets, if you have reaction like just now, I believe that it's because you are in the good direction.
I didn't hear. What direction?
Yeah. I mean, right now you are exploring your sensations. Yeah. and something
Yeah.
happened in your body, and a shaking started to happen. Yes. When the body start to shake, it's because the nervous system start to integrate something. Yeah, that's my belief. So to me, that my belief is that it pointed that the way you were exploring your sensation, the way you were searching for this space between two sensations was done in sensations, not in thought, not in images. So keep looking that way, and things interesting can happen. You can start with very normal sensation, like just hand, like very neutral sensation, and you can try with very, very heavy sensation, like depression and peace. And but what is important is just that you have to feel the sensation at the moment. You cannot imagine a sensation. You really have to feel it in your body, and you try to search the space between them and borders. I hope it's more clear now. Oh, is it
Yeah.
clear? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us, a lot of the time we think we're feeling something. Well, we are feeling, yeah, but the feelings are not pure sensation. We're feeling what we think yeah, it's very, very hard to describe, but what you experienced then was to divorce the thoughts and the sensations. You separated them really distinctly. And this is really valuable to be able to do that. Sometimes we can't tell whether we're thinking a feeling or whether we're feeling a thinking. Feeling is a feeling, that
Yeah.
they run together. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think this is because often we overlook the quality of thought. Many people often when I talk or guide, I feel that people the belief that thought is just a conceptual, but there is no really this clear understanding and experience that image, that mental image are a thought. When you and often, like you say, when there is feel your body, people imagine that they have an image of the body very strongly, and these images, we go there more easily than in sensation. And it's a habit, it's a very, very strong habit. But what I recommend for that is you can close the eyes or not, but you can say the word of a part of your body, any part, and we can really look that the sensation of this part has nothing to do with the image I have of it. Nothing. It's a sensation. They are very two different dimensions. You know.
Yeah, I feel it's like where we started with Don. If we believe a thought that we're feeling bad, we can feel bad, but it's almost like we feel bad because we're thinking we feel bad rather than thinking we're feeling bad because we feel bad. It's just a reverse order. We can
Can you repeat this one? I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
tricky one, isn't it? Yeah. It's the classic one where, like, if you're walking along and you see a tree and you label it a tree, then immediately you start relating to the label tree. But it feels like you imagine that you're relating to the actual tree, but you're not. You're relating to your idea of that tree in your mind. Well, the same thing can happen with feelings. So you get this sensation and you go, oh, that means I'm feeling bad. And you can then feel bad because you think you feel bad rather than because you're actually feeling bad. You're actually, well, you do feel, you are actually feeling bad, but it's like feeling bad follows the idea that you're feeling bad rather than the idea follows the feeling of feeling bad. You know, we respond to our thoughts about things much easier than we respond to the actual things. That's what I was saying to Don, to check if he says I'm feeling bad, check in the body and see if you really are feeling bad, and if that's the primary thing, or does the feeling in the body follow the idea that I'm feeling bad? And it's just something to be curious about, something to look at, something to discover, something to check out. Just what's the order of things? What comes first? It's subtle. It is tricky.
It's very subtle because
Yeah.
when I hear you say what comes first, with this kind of way of framing it, you go into thought almost immediately, like, of
Yes,
course,
of
something is
course you do.
first
Yeah,
and
yeah,
something is after, and
yeah,
and then there is time again, and it's become messy.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's why when I hear also like when there is a thought, if you believe them, like this separation between what you believe and a thought and everything, I think it's already too much, really, because
Yeah.
belief is the thought. It's not a belief and the thought coming after or anything. And you can explore this the same with sensations. Take a thought, banana, and the thought, I can eat a banana. There is really two thoughts there. And you will see you don't, it's just one thought always, it's just thinking. So believing a thought or not doesn't really change. It's not really that important, as much important as we think. This is just thinking. I think this is because the belief in time is so strong, it's so deep. But if we really get that there is only now, there's only one thought now. There is not a million. There is not train of thought. There is just one thought at this moment. And if you struggle, you are not struggling with years of habit of thinking. You are struggling, let's say, with the thought that is appearing to you at this moment.
Mm.
And if I think, oh, I have no money and it's bad, and after I think, oh, I shouldn't believe that, I shouldn't believe I have no money, is one thought. It's only always one thing that is here. It's only the activity of thinking.
Can I say something?
Yes, absolutely. Jump in, Rob.
Hello, nice to see you, Vince, and I don't know anyone else, so haven't been here for a while. Can I? So, was this meeting starting at UK time at 10? Oh, so I just okay. Well, I was pretty much on time then. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
You're just a few minutes later. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no worries. Yeah.
Well, it's a good time this for me. So hopefully, is this every month at this time?
So it was 55 minutes ago we actually started.
And you do it every week or every month? The
week.
meeting.
Every week.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can get to this time. Yeah, no, I was listening to David, and you know, these are just words I think, but I have found it very helpful to explore my beliefs. You know, particularly beliefs that are that seem to be very powerful for me. So I've just said I think it's very helpful. I think if I was understanding you, I guess yes, they're all thoughts, but I think
Well,
for me,
your sound is really distorted. It's very hard
sorry.
to.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's better. Yes, thank you.
It's better, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, this is my wife's computer, so I haven't used this before, but anyway, yeah, no, I was just saying what David was saying about thoughts just being thoughts, and I think sometimes for me when there's beliefs there, it's been helpful to to explore the belief or what I believe in and the reality of the belief.
Just come a bit closer to the microphone.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's been helpful for me to explore the belief for truth. So it's been helpful to let go of by exploring a belief, particularly the types of beliefs that seem to come up a lot in my experience. Did you hear that?
Yeah, so I hear that for you it was very helpful to explore belief, what you believed in, and do this exploration. If I say belief are just thoughts, if I use the word just, I'm really sorry. My intention wasn't to diminish the usefulness of the concept of belief and the usefulness of exploring beliefs. I just wanted to point out a little bit a different angle to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Words are very tricky.
Yeah, but if you want to put in categories to thinking, when say there is thinking, then there is thoughts, then there is concept, and then there is belief. Right? But every belief is a concept, but not every concept is a belief. Yes. And then there is thought. Every belief is a concept. Every concept is a thought. It's a thought. And when you search for a thought, different two thoughts, the only thing you find is thinking. So you can kind of going up, but it's true that I still explore my belief, but it's very helpful to know that where kind of I speak too much, I feel already, but this is just what I wanted to point to. Yeah.
So what do you believe at the moment, Rob?
Where am I? Not a lot, really. Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot.
So does not a lot mean a little?
Yes, I think so. Oh, yeah, I mean, yes, I haven't had a full realization, no anything like that, but having glimpses. I think I got I got into the non-duality probably just about 2 years ago, and then I did the gate. Is it the gate? The gate? I did I with I forget her name. Anyway, that was really helpful, and then I haven't. And then I've gone to when I can get to a non-duality meeting and just watching teachers and stuff like that. And I thought I'd had like a stream entry, but I'm not sure now anymore, really. And also I don't really care. I don't care so much anymore. Whether I've had or not, really. It's been really helpful for me, the non-duality teachings. certainly got a lot more peace in my life, a lot less identification with myself and my life, and that's been very nice.
So how did the non-duality realizations happen for you? What were they?
I couldn't say it was one thing. It felt like it was a gradual thing. You know, it's very hard to sort of. It was more about, I guess, an ease and more of a comfort, a less identification with this here, this belief system, this doing this like that type of thing. So I think it's very gradual. It's one thing I could say, really. Certainly had like peak experiences in that time, where it felt like the self wasn't there, greatly diminished. Really simple, but very simple, really. I think I was looking for something like extraordinary, but it's more a sense of intimacy, lack of extraordinaryness, really, a simplicity.
So is there a self? Does a self exist?
I think it's still there, yes.
So where is it? Where?
Well, if I
In your head? In
if
your
I look,
finger? Where is it?
if I look for it, I can't find it.
So what makes you think it's still there?
because when I'm not sort of meditating, or I'm not in a non-duality meeting, probably a lot of the time it feels like I'm a self moving through time, but not all the time. Not all the time.
It feels like.
Feels like.
So does that prove anything?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't, because also I can have a sense of, oh, this is, myself manifesting now in this moment, and I'm aware of that. And
Okay, so tell me, when you say it manifests, tell me what actually manifests. I know you're labeling it a self, but get behind the label, below the label, and tell me what it is that manifests that you can't label a self. What is it that manifests that leads you to think there's a self there?
Well, if I was to go into that question, I'd be going into the conceptualizing. But let me sort of say, in this moment, what that might be more helpful for me.
So did you just say that it's a concept that leads you to imagine that a self is there?
Well, it's just like language. Language is really, it feels at times when I'm going about my life.
So when you say it feels like, you have sensations that you...
Yes, I have sensations.
So what are those sensations that you are labeling?
I couldn't possibly tell you. I'd
Right.
have to be, there's not any particular, it's more of a sense of a person, myself, going to work. Let's say in my work, like my work is quite a big part of my life. There's a very strong identification with the work I do. That's often.
Yeah.
That's often a time where I feel like I've got certain roles, but even with that, now I can see it's a role, and I have less. It feels much less serious or
Yep,
important or anything like that. So that's the best way I could describe it. So it feels like it's thinning out.
It's doubt about what?
It's thinning out my identification with myself.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
gotcha.
that's the closest. That's and when I listen to other teachers, because some, a lot of teachers say about, that this can be, look, it's these words. This can happen gradually for people, and I know some people have seem to have a
Yeah.
sudden
Okay.
shift.
So when you feel that you're identifying, and you go looking, you see that there's nothing there.
Yes.
It's just something that's turned up. That feeling that you believe for the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you ever experienced an illusion? Have you ever been to a magic show and watched somebody cut a woman in half, or have you ever seen water on the
Yeah.
road on a sunny day and got
Yeah.
there and realized it's just an illusion? Have you actually ever experienced an illusion? Right.
Yes.
So
Yes, I have.
would you not agree that an illusion is where your senses tell you one thing that you know is not true?
Absolutely.
Right. So this idea of a self, would you call that an illusion?
Yes.
That definition you would, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Something your senses are telling you that you know is not true.
Yes. Conceptually,
So your sense, your self hasn't come back at all. There's just this illusion that's present.
yeah.
And that illusion is the result of a lifetime of believing something, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Conditioning for how many years? Quite a few, eh?
A lot. Yeah. A lot. Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
60.
60 years of conditioning. That's a lot of conditioning, isn't it?
There's a lot there. Yes.
Yeah,
A lot.
yeah. So if this
Yeah.
illusion turns up, do you then respond to that in a way that causes problems for you, or do you laugh at the idea that it's turned up?
All those things.
Yeah.
But sometimes I
So
get caught.
if you just can go, oh, that's just an illusion, then it's a lot
Yeah.
easier to laugh at it, isn't it, when it happens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
more you laugh at it, the less likely it is to turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I need
it'll keep
to-
turning up until
Yeah.
it doesn't. If it ever doesn't, or who knows if it ever doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody tells me it never ever turns up, I'm a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, but when it turns up for me, I just laugh at it. I don't go, oh God, I've lost it. I'm
Yeah.
not awake anymore. That's
Yeah.
that's a bit of a joke, isn't it?
That's helpful. I have this thing sometimes when I meditate. So when I'm really there's a lot of quiet, a lot of relaxation in the body, and there's nothing. It feels like I'm in the I am sense, or that's how it.
Yeah.
And then it feels like the only way I could describe it is like a rush of energy. It's almost like I initially thought it was fear, like which I know people talk about the fear barrier, but it doesn't feel like fear anymore. It's almost like I feel like I'm on an edge of something, and there's like a rush, and then it just stops, and it's like an excitement almost.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for quite some time, perhaps I don't know perhaps a year or so. And initially, when it first happened, I thought it was like a fear barrier. But like I said, it doesn't feel like fear, because I've had a lot of fear in my life, like of anxiety and panic and stuff. So it doesn't feel like fear. But and then I would try and grab it. I think I was thinking, oh, this is it. This is the jumping off place. I think I used to have like thoughts like that, and I tried to grab it, and then it would go away. And now it comes and it goes, and I'm much more able just to be with it. But it still feels like there's a part of me that wants to jump over, but quite do that. So I guess I spoke about it with another teacher, and he said, you know, it's just you sort of let go of it really, because again, it's like trying to grasp something, hold on to something. And I've been doing a lot more of that, but I just thought I'd bring it to see if anyone had some insight into that or.
Yeah. So it feels like something's stopping you from just letting go completely, eh?
Yeah, because I'm really quiet. There's no thoughts or the odd thought.
Yep.
And it feels like I'm on edge of something. That's the natural feeling. You know, when you walk to an edge of a cliff and you look. I mean, I'm quite fond of heights, so it's something I'm really familiar with. But like you're on the edge, or you come to the edge of something, you get that. It's like it's almost like, and you go, oh, I don't want to look over there because I might jump or something like that.
I get it.
That's the only way I can describe. That would be a much accurate. It's a much accurate.
Yeah. So is it a pleasant feeling, the excitement that when you get close to the edge, it's like, you know, and then all of a
It's
sudden.
not unpleasant. I wouldn't say it's pleasant. It's not unpleasant. It's kind of. Well, perhaps it is a bit of perhaps there's a bit of fear. Then there might be a bit of fear there. Perhaps I don't know. Perhaps I need to feel it more to see what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's not uncommon. And we don't need to label it. We don't need to label it fear or whatever. We just recognize that there's just something there. And the appropriate way to look at it is just with curiosity and be in discovery mode. And as you get more relaxed with it when it turns up, you'll see more. Okay. The issue isn't to jump over it, to let go, as much as just to be with it, and kind of if you know, the idea is to be relaxed about it, and it will reveal itself. You know, you don't have to chase anything. You're not missing out on anything. Right? Once you do go over it, you know, 3 weeks later you'll go, oh Jesus, this is ordinary. But you know, it's often described. People often describe it as falling. You know, that's just like a letting go, a falling. Yeah.
That's exactly what
it will happen. It will happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Some people don't experience it. Yeah. But
yeah. I have spoken about it with other, and no one ever. That's really helpful, Vince. That really made sense what you said. Yeah.
And there's nothing to get, you know. When you get what you've got to get, you'll realize there's nothing to get. That gate, it's a gateless gate. It's not actually there. It only appears to be there from the other side. But once you go through it, you turn around and there's nothing there. So, you know, it's paradox. But yeah. And you've got 1 foot through the gate. So it's just a case of just relax and let it all happen. Whatever's going to happen will happen. Yeah. Don't chase it. That only keeps it away.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm doing that anymore.
Yeah, good, great. Yeah, I'll get that. No, I'm not seeking now. Just let it happen.
Sometimes it happens now when I don't, and afterwards, my mind's gone somewhere else, and then I realise after I finish my meditation, oh, that thing happened again, but I had forgotten about it.
Yeah. It sounds like you're in a good place. Just learning patience. Have you been traveling, Soren?
There's a sensation in my gut that feels like it's always there and it feels like me.
Can you increase your volume a little bit?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, that's better. Thanks.
I think my voice was faint. There's a sensation in my guts that's always there and it feels like me.
What kind of a sensation?
It's a denseness. It's like a weight is there.
A weight, yeah. Does it change?
Sometimes, but usually no. Usually there's a weight there.
And it's always in the same place, is it?
Yes.
Is it always the same heaviness, that weight?
Yes.
Does it feel like it belongs there?
No.
Does it feel like it's achieving something?
I don't know what that means.
What effect does it have on you? Does it keep you anchored, grounded? If it's heavy, does it stop you from floating away?
I don't know. I don't know if it does anything, but I know by habits there's a do something to make this go away relationship.
Say that one again. I didn't quite get that.
I don't really know what it is, but I know there's a habitual relationship where the expectation is I do something and it's supposed to go away.
And does that happen?
No,
So do you do the something that's meant to make it go away and it doesn't work, or do you not do anything?
It's there regardless. Whether I do something or not.
What is one of the things that you do to try and make it go away?
Stare into a mirror.
Sorry, I missed that again.
Stare into a mirror.
Stare into a mirror, yeah?
Intellectually engage with something.
Try and divert from it. Is it there when you first wake up in the morning?
Yes. Strongly so, I would say.
Right. Is it there before you wake up, do you think?
Yes. I get the feeling it's stronger when I sleep.
Okay. And it generally stays there all day. So you live with it all the time, all day and all night, every day. Is that right?
I would say so, yeah. There are times where it's not that it grows quieter, but everything else grows more noisy. So it's not as obvious, but it's always there. Like if I were to go to a public place, a lot of people, there's a lot of noise and it might be easier to look away, but it's always there.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, in answer to this question, the first thing that comes to mind, if it were to be telling you something, what would it be saying?
Go away.
It would be telling you to go away.
I don't know. That's the most
Mm.
instinctive message.
Mm. Does it have a color?
I don't think so.
Does it have a temperature? Is it hot or cold or warm or anything?
I don't think so.
Does it have a size?
How do I describe that?
How big is it? Does it fill your gut area? Or just take up part of it?
It takes a part of it, but it's very heavy.
So it's quite dense and heavy.
Yes.
Mm. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when I ask, what does it achieve?
Protects.
It protects you. Okay, so it's your friend. It's looking after you.
It grows, gets louder when there's a threat.
Gets louder when what?
There's a threat, something's threatening.
Right, right. Well, and what kind of threat is it protecting you from? We're talking about a physical threat, a threat to your self-image or your reputation. What kind of a threat?
Me and other people.
How other people see you or what they might do to you?
It feels more obvious.
Didn't quite catch that. It feels what?
More obvious.
More obvious, yeah. When other people are around.
Yes.
So does it change any of its characteristics when other people are around? Does it get bigger or heavier or shift?
Louder.
Sorry?
Louder.
Louder. Okay, so it has a volume. Right.
Yes, that would be how I would describe it.
Yes, got it. Yeah. So when nobody's around, it still exists. So what is it protecting you from then? Just say the first thing that comes to mind. Don't think.
My foot fell asleep, so it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
What is it protecting me from?
If there's nobody
Nothing.
around, yeah.
Doing nothing. Being nothing.
Mm. So if there's nobody around and it's not protecting you from anything, why is it still there? Does it still have a purpose?
It is protecting me from being nothing and doing nothing.
Oh, okay, got it. Yep.
There's an understanding that who I am in the world is dependent on other people.
Okay, and if they're not around, then How would you describe that? Who you are, if they're not around?
Well, it's like the how do I describe this? It's like the opposite of that, but it's still something. There's like this strong belief that I am what others I am what the world makes me out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way people react, the the money I have, the all the shoulds.
Mm.
That's, I think, a good way of putting it.
Yep. So it's really versatile, isn't it? So if other people are around, it's protecting you from their expectations. Would you say that's right?
That sounds right.
But if nobody's around, it's protecting you from disappearing into nothingness. It sounds like it's very versatile.
I feel so.
It definitely sounds like your friend. It's looking after you. Yet part of you would like to get rid of it.
Gets in the way of the minds.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
It gets in the way of the minds.
Gets in the way of the mind. Is that a bad thing? What would the mind be doing if it wasn't in the road of it, getting in the way of it?
Learning something or thinking in a chess game or something. Something intellectual.
Mm-hmm. Is that a price you pay for it looking after you?
What do you mean by price?
Well, that it gets in the road. Do you have to put up with the fact that it interferes with your intellectual processes?
It's more like a friend that never leaves,
Say that again.
even when it's like a friend that never leaves, even though
Yes.
even if there's nothing that it's stopping me from,
Mm.
there's still, it's like a friend that never leaves.
So you would like a rest from it. It's a bit exhausting, eh?
Yes.
But unlike a friend, you can't ask it to give you some space. Or you can ask it, but it doesn't listen to you, eh?
Yes.
Mm. So if it wasn't there, what would happen when you're alone? And what would happen when other people are around if it wasn't there?
There's an idea that came to mind that with it, I can't really process that question I just asked. It's like a friend that's knows what's best and it's not leaving. It's like my mind would run amok. It's like a friend that just can't stop drinking. It's like someone that can't stop drinking. The friend's there, the drunkard, the drunk friend's screaming, go away. And the real friend's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere.
So it's stopping you from hurting yourself.
No, I wouldn't say that was just an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like getting lost in thought, getting lost in because the maybe it's here to stop me from dissociating.
Dissociating, did you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
with intellectual activities, because there's been a lot of pretending I don't exist by pretending I exist on somewhere else, like in a computer or a character in a game or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So it does keep you grounded.
Yes. It just might be hard to see. Like the friend that has had too much to drink, he thinks the person in the room is the problem. Like, go away, ruining my life.
So you would like a break from it. You would like that friend to go away and give you some peace, but at the same time, you're afraid of what will happen if that occurs.
I think that maybe it was that like it was confusion. It's the other way around. It's like the friend selling me the pieces right here, and there's that the part of me that's convinced it'll get it outside. Because oh look, there's all this outside. There's the people that tell me, oh like you'll feel all the shoulds, and all the promises. How can I get what I need out there when I pay attention to what's in here? Is the friction.
Is what's out there really something that is actually objective, or is what's out there really what you interpret it to be?
My interpretations feel powerless. Because there's this belief that it is what other people decide it to be. Because I'm only one person. The world is everyone else.
Mm.
How can I?
Well, it's obvious that that what the world is for other people is what they decide it to be. But it's not so obvious to me that what the world is for you is what they decide it to be, because you don't know what they decide it to be. You only know your interpretation of that. Is that accurate, do you think?
I think so. My mind went blank for a bit.
Mm. What I'm saying is that what other people think it is something we can't know. But what we think other people think it is really what we think. It's our interpretation. So the whole world out there is really our interpretation of it. It's the way we see it.
It fears the grandiosity, the potential narcissism. That's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't quite get how that's narcissistic, because we're not saying that the world out there is what we think it is. What we're saying is that the world out there is our interpretation of what we think it is. So we're not giving it any objective, absolute character.
I feel very confused right now. I couldn't follow that.
Yeah, okay.
Could you repeat that again, please?
Yeah. So a narcissist would say that the world is a certain way, that it is absolutely a certain way. And what we're saying is that the world is actually unknowable, but we have an interpretation of it, and that's our world. We're not saying that that's what the world is that's out there. What we're saying is we don't know what the world is out there. We only know our interpretation of it.
I see.
So it's quite different to narcissism. And it's very humbling, because we say we don't know what's actually out there. But the narcissist would say very, very loudly, I know what it is. And it would be a distortion for sure. But we don't know what it is. We can only know our own interpretation of it. And if you can get that, you can see that what you imagine other people think of you is just your imagination, because you can't actually know what they think of you. And what they do actually think of you is none of your business. Because they can't know you any more than you can know them. So it's just an opinion that they might have. It's irrelevant to the way you actually are.
Yeah, that feeling in the gut is,
Sorry, say that again.
that feeling in the gut is like less dense, but was trying to get my attention.
Mm.
Louder? I don't know.
Yep.
Something to do with what you said, challenging something. Or feeling challenged.
Yep, sure. Yeah, you certainly don't want to lose it at this stage. You would be very vulnerable without it.
Lose what? Vulnerable without what?
Without that feeling in the gut that's looking after you. We don't want to make it go away. We will get to the point where it's unnecessary and it will go away of its own accord. But until it's unnecessary, it's your friend. It's looking after you. You should honor it.
I see.
With what we've just been talking about, just be curious and play with it and watch it and have a different relationship to it. Have a friendly relationship with it and see what happens.
Yeah, I can sense the habitual opposition, distrust.
Mm. Anyway, just see what happens over the next few days, and we'll look at it again, eh?
Thank you.
How's things been for you, Lindy?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, traveling a lot lighter these days, I think.
Not so much of the old stuff coming back?
No, it's very subtle, but it's definitely feels you know, like I'm swimming rather than drowning more of the time. Whereas, you know, I've spent a lot of this life feeling I'm drowning rather than swimming, so that's quite a relief. Yeah, well, a couple of things have come up for me. You know, I mentioned trust before, but we didn't really sort of go anywhere with it. And I think there is a trust issue with other people. But then when I kind of turned it round, I also kind of saw that, you know, we're always talking about sensations and feelings and stuff, that actually there's been an underlying belief that I really don't trust. You know, I don't always trust what I'm feeling or thinking, or, you know, whatever's happening.
Okay, so let's just turn that around a bit, because trust, if you've got trust, you don't know it. It's not an actual thing, but you do have distrust. So let's say, instead of saying I don't trust, say I do distrust, and tell me what it is that you distrust.
I think I do distrust what goes on for me. And I'm aware that that's because, I mean, I don't need to go into the story in a big way, but, when I'm thinking, well, why would that be the case? And I think it's because and I'm sure lots of other people, when you're really young, you're told you don't feel that, or you should be something else, or whatever. So I think I kind of took it in that if I was feeling bad about something I shouldn't be, it should be something different. Or oh, you're not, or something like, well, you're not really angry, or you shouldn't be sad, or do you know what I mean? It's sort of
So you
I think from
distrust,
very,
you distrust
yes,
what your body or your mind, or you distrust what you were telling yourself.
I think there's a level of distrust with it all, really, which I'm only just starting to explore, I think. But obviously then with that heightens my distrust of others, which again, it's very under the radar. I mean, nobody would think I was a distrustful person at all. And I mean, sometimes I think I'm probably slightly over trustful. I think I mentioned that because I have quite high expectations, that's quite a long-term pattern. So that's something that I'm looking into. And the other thing that just came up for me this morning was definitely it's the second dart that is causing me more problems. I was aware there was some stuff I didn't want to do this morning, which I had a bit of a sinking heart about. Oh, I better do that. And I thought, oh, I haven't thought that recently. And then immediately on top of that came you shouldn't be feeling like that, or that's not good that you're feeling that. So that was the resistance, and actually that made me feel worse. And when I stopped trying not to resist, then I opened up again in the way that I've learned to open up about the initial feeling. If I'm feeling negative about something, say, something happens, I think, oh gosh, not a nice feeling, what is this about? And then I sit with it. And now it's like the resistance is asking for the same thing, it seems. So actually I need to be with the resistance as much as I do with the initial, say, difficult feeling. I mean, I'm labeling it obviously, but heavy, not pleasant kind of. Yeah. So I think, I definitely feel like I've changed from feeling like a seeker to an explorer, which is quite nice.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, I'm just sort of jogging on with all that, really.
So when you recognize that there's some resistance there, is there a story that it shouldn't be this way?
Yeah.
And do you see that you have that story? You recognize that's a story that you've got, that it shouldn't be that way?
Yes.
And how do you respond to that recognition that there's a story that it shouldn't be this way? Do you then push on to try and get rid of the resistance, or do you do something else?
Well, there's certainly the same move that I don't want it to be there, but instead of pushing it away, I'm opening to it.
Yeah, great, excellent. Yeah. So you recognize that the words, the best way to dissolve the resistance is to not fight it and try and push it away, but to just open to it, be accepting of it. That's just what's arisen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before. That feels quite new, I think, as of literally this morning, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that sort of fits in. I'm not quite sure because it's all a bit, but I'm carrying on with the feta stuff and listening to Pernilla a lot. And it definitely came to me yesterday, but all that, just trying to, about this being aware of. I don't need to change anything. Because there's so much that I've always been aware of. I think, because I've always done a lot of self-looking, self-development and stuff, you know, and to be honest, nothing really has changed over the years on many levels, it feels. So I get really cross when people say, you just need to be aware of it and it will change. But I think it's how you're aware of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I, you know, because I'm thinking I've been aware of all this, you know, for 50 plus years, to be honest. And nothing's changed. You know, I still do and think the same things that I was doing years and years ago. And it's so frustrating.
So it's not being aware of it that's the value. It's rather your attitude towards being aware of it, or rather your relationship to it when you are aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that includes not pushing it away.
Yes.
And letting it be there, and then exploring it, I guess. I mean, I have to be very careful that this doesn't all fall into into the category of the Good Lindy project, you know, which has been a very
yeah, pat yourself on the shoulder.
sort of a lifelong thing for me, because, you know, I've just never really been able to make sense of the world, you know. So, well, if you can be as good as you can, at least that's you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll never.
That's one thing you've achieved.
Yeah. There's nothing sensible about it. Yeah.
So yeah, so just lots of exploring, really. Yeah.
Good. So now, you said to me once that the bane of your life was, well, these are my words, of course, was that things just kept coming back. Old things just kept coming up and coming back. That was the way I took it. So now when they come up, you're seeing them as an opportunity. Would that be the right way to put it?
Yeah, when I catch it and have that thought, it's still quite new. Yeah. Yeah.
It is
I'm being slightly less hard on myself, I think, and that's a biggie.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, well, being hard on yourself is a kind of a strange kind of craziness, isn't it? You know. Yeah.
You know, that little voice that tells me everything I'm thinking and doing is wrong. You know, it's almost like I've got to get beyond that before I can then recognize what I'm feeling, and then another one recognizing the resistance to it. I mean, you know, I know this is kind of supposed to be effortless, but it actually it feels quite hard work at this stage, because I don't, you know, if I keep doing everything I've always done, I'm not going to get a different outcome, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity, isn't it? So
well, it is. And yet, you know, I know that I can't do this change. So it's like that subtle, there's lots of...
Yeah, but it's just a couple of degrees different to the old way. But yeah, it's huge. The outcome is huge. Yeah. Yeah. Being gentle with yourself. I can just sense that gentleness now. That's a lot easier, and that opens things up for you. Great. I love that. Yeah. And it's a great discovery. It's all a wonderful journey of discovery. Yeah. Sounds like you're in a good place. You've had a haircut, Rowena.
Yes, I did. Yeah, had a little change.
A big change. It looks like.
Yeah. It's fun. It's lighter.
Mm.
Yeah, I've had long hair for quite a long time, and my husband kept saying, "Oh, you really should get it cut." And for some reason, I said, and then all of a sudden, it was like, "Oh yeah, well maybe I will." So it's like no reason except for maybe I will.
Yeah, it's amazing how those things happen. They have a life of their own, kind of thing, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's Bianca. Have you been traveling, Bianca? Smoking away there.
Hmm. Well, today there were a lot of no, but that's the best. My thoughts go to this feeling of me that when I'm looking at a sensation or a thought, there is always a feeling of a, sensation is here and I am here.
Mm.
And it doesn't seem like a thought, more like a feeling, but I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like a gravity center.
And that's the same for when you're thinking. There's thinking, and then there's you
Hmm?
thinking. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can't imagine that there can be sensations or thoughts without a you. There has to be somebody having them.
Yes, being aware of them.
Right. Okay. So just let me clarify. Thoughts could just be there. Thoughts, thinking could just be there without a you having them, but there is a you being aware of them. Or is it both those things?
Can thoughts be there without me?
Mm,
No.
no. So there has to be a you for thoughts to exist.
Yes. Or
Yeah.
anything. Thoughts, sensations,
Yes, gotcha.
world.
Yep. And so the you that's having thoughts is the same you that is witnessing, that is seeing, being aware of them? Or is that?
No, I'm being aware of thoughts, not thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not making the thoughts.
You're not making them.
No.
Where do they come from? Yep. Okay. That's a good answer. Hmm. So what is the relationship between you and those thoughts, or between you and who is aware, or what is aware of those thoughts? What is the relationship between them?
Mhm. That I'm being aware of thoughts. I'm maybe I don't understand the question.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So it's like okay, it's like you don't know where thoughts come from; they're just there. But
Mhm.
there is somebody or something that is aware of those thoughts, and that somebody or something is you. Is that right?
Yeah, it feels like this.
Yep.
Uh, when I hear no, it's non-duality message about going like feeling the raw feeling. I think it is a kind of buffer. So I always I'm always at a distance from a sensation of
Yeah. Okay.
even when sometimes I can engage, I can get excited in discussion, I can get angry, but it's also a feeling of like I'm playing a role, Bianca. But it's not really me.
Okay, yeah, that role, that yeah, well, good. That role is separate from the thinking or the sensations, is it?
Separate?
Is that role that you experience, that role is it other sensations and the thoughts happening in the role or to the role that is Bianca? Or are they separate from? Is there a space?
Oof. The role is just a description of this engaging in
Yep. Okay.
a feeling and emotion and
Okay. So the role is conceptual.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the description.
Yeah. So would it be accurate to say that the only existence of self is a conceptual role? Or is there some other existence besides that concept?
Of self.
Mm.
I think I'm not sure how you are using the word self.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm,
Well, how would you use it? Would you just
if it's the one being aware,
and is that something actual or just that conceptual role that you mentioned? Is the one being
aware is actual.
is actual, right? And would you say that the one being aware is a self or is just a body, just a meat suit? That's what Penilla likes to call it, a meat suit. Is that
No,
no
meat suit is object.
object? Yeah. So it's not that object that is aware. It's not that object that is experiencing thoughts or sensation. That's separate from that object.
Mm-hmm.
Is it then is it possible that would you say that the thought and the sensation are just concepts?
Oh, that's too much.
Yes. Okay. So would you say that thoughts and concepts are objects?
Yes.
Even though no surgeon could find them, we can't bottle them.
Mm. Well, not yet.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
I mean, I think thoughts have the physical counterpart. That's just what I think. It's my story.
Mhm.
Hmm. Let's say, like a sound has a physical counterpart in vibrations.
Mhm.
Um,
You could say thought and sensation also have vibrations.
mm,
an aspect of
Well, but there is some physical counterpart. Yeah, sound is not a vibration of air. It's sound is inside
yeah,
in this virtual space.
yeah, sure.
And yeah.
And so thoughts and sensations also exist in that virtual space, don't they?
Yes.
Even though we can track down physical things with the right instruments,
Mm-hmm.
but our experience of them is in a virtual space. So we can actually separate our experience of them from what they actually are. Do you think that's accurate?
Yes.
Just as we could also say that our experience of a self is different to what it actually is.
Yes.
I don't know where to go with this now. So we could say that what it actually is, what they are actually, is not relevant. What is relevant is our experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what the world actually is, that absolute thing out there. It's irrelevant. It's only our experience of it that is relevant to us. Yet we're a bit obsessed as humans. We're a bit obsessed with what things actually are, aren't we? Whereas even when we realize that the only thing that's relevant is what we experience, we still want to know what it actually is. And some things we have instruments and we can develop scientific hypotheses about them, and other things we can't. Other things are just too complex or too far removed for us to know what they actually are. But the reality is that we don't really need to know what anything actually is. When we do chase what something actually is, it's just for entertainment purposes, really. I mean, of course, no, it's more than that. But you know, if it's for medicine or for whatever, then it has value to know what it actually is.
Well, I would call it engaging in the role of Bianca.
That's your experience, isn't it? That role of Bianca is your experience. What you actually are is neither here nor there. We don't need to know that. We just need to look at what your experience of Bianca is. And part of that experience is wanting to know what some things actually are. That's also, but only for entertainment purposes, really. We don't need to know in order to navigate life. So who or what witnesses doesn't matter. That witnessing exists, that does. That shapes our experience. It shapes how we feel about things.
Does it shape? Does it shape anything?
Yeah, that's where the pleasant or unpleasant stuff comes from. You think? How we see things affects how we feel about what's happening. You agree? I mean, it's a bit simplistic because obviously it's much more complex than a cause and effect kind of thing. But our perspective,
Oh, I think it's similar to what Lindy said, that you can be aware for 50 years and it doesn't change
yes,
anything.
that's right, yeah.
So witnessing, yeah, it's more about things going in the mind.
Yes, yeah.
Changing perspective.
Yep. So we don't
Looking another way. It's not just witnessing.
That's right. Yeah, of course. We don't
Mm.
witness things dispassionately, do we? We witness things we bring with it. Our witnessing has a flavor to it. Our witnessing, depending on the perspective that we look at it, changes how we feel. So what Lindy mentioned was that what she witnesses now there's an openness to it that wasn't there before. There isn't the story that it's wrong or bad, that we need to change it. So that flavor is different, and that allows the experience from it to be different.
I suppose I see, I wish I occasionally do a little drawing of this, not that I'm an artist in any way at all, but sometimes visually, I suppose I see this whole thing as the awareness, which some people call the big self, but let's, the self thing is very confusing because people use it differently, but it's almost like this whole thing. There is awareness here, and within the awareness, there's the meat suit, and within the meat suit, there is a brain which generates thoughts. And one of those thoughts, the biggest thought perhaps that covers all other thoughts, is the thought that there is a me. So then it covers up all the other thoughts and gets involved with it. So if I'm aware that that this meat body experiences, say, stubbing my toe, then I'm aware of that. But as soon as I'm aware of it, there seems to be, oh, pain in my toe. And then the overarching thought then thinks, oh gosh, that's painful. I wonder if I've broken my toe, and on and on and on it goes. So I just feel that there is this huge awareness into which thoughts come. And the overarching thought grabs every other thought and makes it a me.
Mm.
And that thought also tries to grab awareness and pretend it is awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense, Bianca? I don't know. So this whole everything, which is always in the background.
Yeah.
Gets, occasionally comes into the foreground, and it's sort of recognized, oh, this is just awareness. This is the experiencing. But because the thoughts within the whole thing are so strong, and we've been taught that that's who we are,
they take precedence. Yeah.
Then the big awareness is in the background. And I like this foreground and background business.
Yeah.
Because once when I think I've mentioned this before, but my lovely big experience, which I'd kind of not rubbished, but I'd sort of thought, no, everybody said, oh, it's just an experience. But the more I think about it, the more I realize a lot of that was very accurate, because I thought it was still the me that was being aware of everything, but the thoughts were out to the side. So the awareness actually came to the forefront and was witnessing everything else going on. So I thought, oh, that was just a witnessing experience, but actually it was very much this awareness had come to the foreground, and all the other stuff within it had taken a back seat.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay.
And we're so rarely aware of that big awareness because it's just blotted out by the thoughts that are generated by the brain.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hope you don't mind me saying that, Bianca. I hope it might be helpful. It's quite useful for me to actually speak that out loud, because it can get quite, can get so muddly. I mean, as soon as the thought grabs hold of it, it makes the whole thing very confusing.
It can be very confusing. Yeah. And that big awareness, now's not the time for us to get into that. But that's just a temporary resting place for you. So enjoy it for the moment, but I'm going to take it away from you soon.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming if I get to the point where I can really, live knowing that in a knowing kind of way, then that will drop. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like when that would drop. But anyway, it doesn't matter for now. It doesn't really matter for me.
Absolutely, it doesn't. No, that's right.
For now.
And we can't imagine what we haven't experienced. So, it's tricky there. Yeah.
I think just seeing awareness is a big container that has no qualities of its own.
Yes. And that's a brilliant way to stop identifying with the puny little idea of a person that we used to have. And that's a great place to get away from that one. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah, I feel like it's that first you need to learn to distance
yes.
from this meat suit with all its troubles, and then you have to go in again, but differently.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's well put. I like that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we get to that other thing there, it's like, wow, there's just no way words can do any justice to it, you know. But yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Mm. For now, I see how comfortable it is to have this distance
Yes.
and helpful, and it was like when I was in great fear, great, like, and crying out of fear. But there was still a bit of distance. So that, this is happening.
Mm.
I felt that then that it helped me to get through this. But it's also it's this buffer. Is as I understand, in the end, there would be only this fear. No me fearing.
Mm. Well, yeah, not in the end, but on the way. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, to some, I feel good where I am right now.
Great. Excellent. All right. Well, that's a good place to wind up. I think. Well, time for me to go to bed. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Vince, and everybody. See you
See you the next time.
at the next time. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.